Good evening. This video is going to be about engineering, sound engineering. I will try to, I usually improvise when I'm making these videos. I have a main idea about what I'm going to talk about, and a couple things come up, come to mind, and I sort of organize my thoughts for, like 5, 10, 15 minutes, and usually a few days go by, and then I actually start to make the video like right now. So if I do stutter and I take my time to look for certain words, then I apologize. I know sometimes looking at these videos could be a little long and maybe a little frustrating because the person who's making the video doesn't like. In my case, I'd rather not edit, and I just want the video to naturally capture what I'm trying to express, and the idea of the video, just sort of an organic view of what it is to be I guess a recording engineer, sound engineer, right now, 2024. Okay, so let's first, there's another thing I want to talk about is the unexpected departure of recording engineer Steve Albini. Let's start with. I'm going to start with my story with my Steve Albini story. Is that when I was like, I think I was 9 or 10 years old when I saw when I was shown Nirvana's Nevermind. I was very young. I was 9 years old here in Bogota. My cousin was really into the band, and it was really popular at the time. I'm guessing it was 91, 92. He had a vinyl copy of Nevermind, and it was nighttime. He had a lot of friends over his house. He had like a party, like I think it was like a barbecue, and we had food, and everybody was eating, and right, as they got down to like 10, 11 o'clock at night, everybody started drinking, and we started talking, and we went into the part of the house where the vinyl player was, and the studio, the books, and this is really interesting because it was also the first time I saw Dali's work. Well, we started listening to the record, and it was really exciting, and started head banging, jumping around. This was back in 91, 92. And I was really young. I was 9 years old. My cousins were like 7, 8 years older than me. So he was probably like 16, 17, getting ready to finish high school. And they had a copy of Dali, a thin book. Not thin. It was a pretty nice book. I'm not sure which book it was. It was a nice edition. Dali's later work, the stuff that looked really 3D and really surrealist and incredibly. I couldn't believe the stuff I was seeing. I was like, wow, this book is super crazy, super interesting. Anyways, well, that was the first time I saw Dali, and the first time I heard Nirvana's Nevermind, and it was very, very a really great memory. And after that, well, some time passed. I went back to Los Angeles. I was visiting my cousins here in Bogota, and I think I was 10 years old, 10 or 11 years old, and I think I was 10 years old. And my one of my other cousins, who was older than me, she brought over a copy on CD of Nirvana's In Utero. And it was incredible. It was a beautiful experience. I couldn't. This is actually, I think this is the stereo. We were listening to it It's an old stereo. It still works, and still still listen to it. Can still listen to. It still works. It still works. I think we were listening something. If not this one, something very similar. These Fisher. I think these are. I don't know where they make these, but well, this is the United States, Los Angeles. Um, Anyways, we were listening to In Utero, and inside, well, she handed me the CD, and inside the CD was the inner sleeve where all the information was about the band. So I started looking at the artwork, and as I looked at the artwork, I started reading recorded by Steve Albini. So that was the first time I saw Steve's name or heard anything about him. I was really mesmerized by the way the record sounded. And at that time, I was listening to. I don't know if some of you remember. Columbia House was selling CDs for. I think it was like, for like 9 cents. You would get a subscription of Columbia House, and you would get one CD or a couple CDs a month, and you would pay, I don't know, it was like $30 a year or $40 a year. Anyways, I guess they were making tons of CDs, and they could basically give them away. They just wanted subscriptions, and I guess really promoting the artists they were signing. So in that collection, my mom was getting Michael Bolton, Elton John, Billy Joel record, the greatest hits. It's a 2 CD, Billy Joel's greatest hits, which the Piano Man and I Am the Entertainer. That first disc is really beautiful and inspiring. I love Billy Joel's music. There was another one that I was really into, John Secada, Latinoamericano. I think he's from. I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't want to say the wrong country, but really. This was the time. I guess in Living Color. We didn't have. I didn't know about these CDs, but I guess this around the time Paula Abdul. We didn't have it, but I mean, I guess she was on television. Paula Abdul. What else? A lot of pop. Latino pop. We were getting a lot of Latino pop, but I was really listening to the Michael Bolton CD, the Elton John, the one with all the Versace. I think somewhere. I think we had it. Maybe it's something. My mom still has it somewhere. I don't know. It has the Versace artwork in it. This is Elton John, the one. Billy Joel's greatest hits, and there was something else. Anyways, Columbia House was basically giving away these CDs to promote all their artists, and they were making a lot of money. And I guess VH1, MTV was really something very important to have, or to at least know about, because MTV wasn't free and it was expensive. You had to pay cable TV, and very privileged to have been a part of that era, because I learned a lot about pop music. Anyways, so that was the first time I heard about Nirvana's In Utero. My cousin had brought it over, and she was really into. Basically, if it wasn't for her, I would never have gotten into Soundgarden. I would have never heard of Pearl Jam. I would have never heard of Stone Temple Pilots. She bought all these CDs. She introduced me to the warehouse. We used to walk to the warehouse back in Redondo Beach or Torrance, California. It would take us like 45 minutes to get there. And well, I was like 9 years old, 10 years old. 45 minutes walking under the sun was forever. But those are beautiful memories. And anyways, yeah, so that was the first time I saw. I just remembered. I remembered some stuff right now. Anyways, so that was the first time I saw Steve Albini's name. I heard Nirvana's In Utero, and I started really getting into the grunge scene, and I started getting all these CDs. I started getting Collective Soul records. Not records. That Collective Soul, the first one, the hints and allegations. That's not the entire name, but that record was really really inspiring. It was really beautiful. I would always get involved with the music by looking at the artwork and looking at the inner sleeve. It was my way of being a part of the, I guess a part of the experience of listening to the band. Anyways, I saw Steve's name, and then I started getting all these records. I started looking at the inside. Who was the producer? Rick Parashar, which he recorded Pearl Jam, the first record. Michael Beinhorn, I think he was part of the production as well. Pearl Jam. I don't know if it was Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. My cousin helps out the Soundgarden record, the Super Unknown, Stone Temple Pilots, Purple, and all the Rick Rubin and Brendan O'Brien CDs, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and anyways, it was a really fruitful, productive, I guess, era for music, and I guess a lot of people were. Okay, so back to Columbia House. I guess they were making millions and millions of CDs, and it was a really inexpensive way of selling records because I guess the actual physical copy of a CD is very inexpensive to make. So if they make, I guess a billion, they can basically sell them at a very very inexpensive price. And CD quality back then was top of the best. I mean, I guess the best in terms of modern perspective of high quality digital reproduction, that you could reproduce it, I guess 1,000 times and nothing would happen to the CD. CDs do wear out. Okay, so it's not that CDs don't wear out. They just, if they wear out, they wear out from, I guess, from on to off. Basically, they if they work, they work. If they don't, then that's it. It's not like vinyl, like it starts to slowly wear, or tape like this. It starts to slowly wear down and then lose quality, which you probably can't perceive at first. But the CD will just stop working. I guess it'll start skipping. It'll start. You can hear it. I guess after. I don't know, I guess after 10,000 listens or even more, I don't know. I've heard that CDs are archival up to like 50 years. If you preserve them, if you keep them in a nice place in the case. CDs are very good to have if you want to have a master copy of a CD quality master copy of, I guess, an original record. It won't be the exact master copy, but it is a master copy. It's a version of what it could be top quality audio. So anyways, I was really into this is the story continuing. So most recently, Steve Albini passed away unexpectedly, and I'm really sad about it. And I didn't know Steve personally, but I did have a lot of encounters with looking him up online and researching his life, making sure that, for example, Tape Op, I know, I always forget his name, Larry Crane is one of his friends that interviewed him in Tape Op magazine. And all this stuff, I had to, I guess, unlock and resurface and on my own, because I was really, this is something that I've loved since I was a child, since I was very small. Music, audio, and engineering. It's always been really important in my life. So I'm very very sad about Steve's passing, and I only hope that we can continue learning from his knowledge and his as PJ Harvey, I think I read recently that she called him an alchemist. I really think that he's an incredible example of what I guess a very dedicated artist and engineer is. His interviews on YouTube are super extensive. I've seen his masterclass. I've tried to stay awake through that masterclass, and it's very, very, very dense information. How much information he was? I guess I think he was a lit major. He studied literature in Chicago University. I don't know the actual details. I've read a few things about it, but I know that if you've listened to his interviews, his vocabulary is a super it's a dense vocabulary with very descriptive words, and the guy knew what he was doing, and he was very informed about everything. His mentor, Ian Burgess, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Burgess or Burgess? English record producer from the post-punk era, where I guess he recorded the Jesus and Mary Chain. I'm not sure what other bands, but I know that he was a huge influence on Steve, and he learned everything. I guess Steve learned everything he could from him, and really developed a particular taste in engineering and music and DIY culture. Steve is also a very important person who represents indie independent artist movement. So if you're an engineer who's starting out, someone who doesn't know what to do, where to go, what information to obtain, look up Steve Albini on YouTube, and a lot of things will be uncovered, and stuff about the music business, which has now changed, but there's still a lot of roots, things that he's very I would like to say correct about. He talks a lot about being independent, a lot about forget about making money with this stuff. This stuff is not your option to don't expect to make a lot of money out of this. If that's what you're doing, you're playing music to make money, then you probably should stop. Make music because you love it, because it's something that you love, and it's something that makes you happy, and without it you can't really, I guess, function, survive. So anyways, thank you, Steve, for everything you've everything you've helped our communities with. Steve Albini is. I live in Bogota, Colombia. I was born here, and there's a huge Steve Albini, I guess, following cult. We really like him here. I know Santiago. I think his bandmate from Big Black is his parents are Colombian, or somebody's from there. I guess it's a way to to associate. But no, yeah, he has a lot of people like him here, so he's very much loved, and I guess soon will be missed a lot. But I guess the way to get through that is through his music. I really send out my love to his wife and his friends in electrical audio, who've have also been part of this world, and everything that I get really choked up when I talk about stuff like this. Excuse me. Yeah, well, I guess a lot of what Steve was, still is very much has a lot to do with his family, his wife, and his friends. Italian, I guess, Italian descendant. descendant. I don't know if that's the right word. I was really nervous. I don't want to insult or hurt anybody's feelings. Or, anyways, yeah. Well, um, he was I guess a, a connoisseur in the. I guess a lot of stuff that he would say about cooking and stuff. I guess. Um, the cooking part was really interesting. That Steve would cook for his wife, and I guess learning by doing and learning by through experience. Very much like a Leonardo da Vinci, very Renaissance man. Yeah, there's okay. So that's my I guess. Well, no, there's a lot more. I'm just trying not to choke up too much. I send my love, and I expect everything to heal. Let time heal. I was really shocked by Steve's passing, and I've been following him ever since he started giving all these interviews on YouTube. I've seen some stuff while he was in Big Black, some interviews which are really dark and very offensive to a lot of people. And Steve looked very anti-social, and I guess the fact that one of his bands was called Rape Man, it was really offensive to a lot of women. And I guess he had at some point he was threatened. Um, um, Big Black is a huge influence on me. It's a recent discovery of the last 7 years. I'm sorry, the last 6 years. I'm guessing. Big Black really opened up my perspective on audio and what could be done. What could pass off as a really good song or a really good recording. Why is Big Black? I guess what is my experience with Big Black is that since I've been listening to a lot of 90s rock, grunge, and hip hop, K-rock, KLOS, a lot of California based. I also know that Steve was born in Pasadena, so I guess that's another thing that's very sad. That I guess his dad was a very important engineer for. I guess he prevented forest fires. Or he's really important. I don't know what he did for the for national forests, but I know that he was very important. I recently learned that he has brothers and sisters, or he has a brother, and oh well. I tried to do a lot of research on Steve, and because I'm really, it's the same thing with Zeppelin and Jimmy Page, and anything that you're interested in, or my experience, if you're interested in something, you should probably research it, look for its background, its roots, where it comes from. A lot of things are very misinterpreted, and you start to wonder what these people are. What the intention of all these people really are. Like music that's very popular. You're wondering, why is this so popular? So then something of your liking, let's research it. Why is this good? Oh well, it has a lot to do with it. It's unfortunately, it's not just it's just not sound. There's art, there's craft, there's a culture, there's family, there's friends, there's a lot of things behind all this that is very important. I'm sorry if I'm just showing you the tape machine. This was just something this is inside a tape machine. I recently opened it. I'm gonna calibrate this. This is my thing for in the next couple of days. Greg Norman is Steve's friend, longtime friend who helped them build Electrical Audio, still works there. And I saw this thing recently, Mixed with the Masters, where they have a session with a band in the studio in France, La Fabrique, and Greg explains a basic tape machine alignment. So this is basically what I took from it. It says repro head at 0, sync head. Well, it's all here. This tape machine has 3 of each. So it has a 1 reproduce head, 1 record head, and 1 playback head. I'm sorry, 1 playback, 1 record, and I got to read it again. I have the manual here. Yeah, so there's a lot of information, and this is a very sad moment right now in audio. My experience in engineering goes way back to my grandfather is an engineer. My uncle, who passed away a few years ago, is a very well known and respected engineer here in Bogota. He, my cousin, a really close family. I have a lot of engineers in my family, and but my most those are my two, my grandfather and my uncle. My grandfather was a very prolific engineer in he did a lot of I don't want to speak about that because it's just like or should I speak about it? Yeah, let's speak about it. Well, yeah, my grandfather's very engineer. What is that called? He's a topographer. I don't know if that's the name, the actual name, topography. He when he was a younger person, he would make maps of really big landscapes throughout Venezuela. I think it's Venezuela, and I think here too in Colombia. It's very amazing because Venezuela is a very difficult country to live in and to well, that time it was I guess that time it was really productive, and I'm rambling on. I don't know that much about Venezuela, but I know that he was part of a very important team in building I think it was a very important bridge in Venezuela. So he fixes in Los Angeles. He was a mechanic. He would build rooms, houses, bathrooms, for to get by, to survive. He had a hard time living in Los Angeles because he's very. My grandfather was. I'm not too sure about this, but I think he's actually Spanish born in Spain, or no, his father was born in Spain. Came to Colombia when he was very young, and I guess my grandfather is the first of, well, 2-3 generations now living in Colombia. So my great grandfather is Spanish born. I'm not sure what part or where. I'm not supposed to ask. I'm not really supposed to be sharing all this, but yeah, no, it's not it's not top secret, or it's not anything out of this world. But yeah, no, it's very beautiful history. My mom's side of the family, they're we're very proud of who we are, and I guess as I get older, I learn more, and I guess turning more European, and very proud of all the stuff my grandfather did. He, like I said, Los Angeles. At that time, he was a very, I guess, a very curious. No, not curious. He was just very dedicated to his work as an engineer, and he would, like I said, he would fix cars, for extra money. He's a very good mechanic. I think one time he rebuilt a Plymouth motor, in his garage. I think he lived in Montebello, California, where these Tascam things are from. These TIAC Montebello. These are originally from Montebello, California. So he had a house there. This has nothing to do with this exactly, but yeah. Well, TIAC Tascam Montebello, California. I recently did some maintenance on the board. It's back working again. I had it. I haven't been using. I have to change out all those LEDs. I'm gonna do that sometime. But the board's working. It's that 48-volt Phantom is all of it's working. I think the fan and these three. I think these three weren't working. I don't know. It's. I'm still working on it. There's a lot of stuff to do to it still. This channel was kind of, somebody got a little carried away, bent these, and some of these are worn down. But it's still really good console. And there's the calibration, all the needles going up. I don't know if you can see that. All the needles. All the needles are alive. I'm still learning the board. Anyways, well, yeah, I've worked on that's the power supply. I recently did a little maintenance on it. So back to, well, yeah, my grandfather is really a huge influence on my becoming an engineer. I was always curious about electronics, and a lot of this, becoming an engineer, being a smart individual, knowing my way around electricity, knowing my way around a craft. So I thank him and my uncle whose children I grew up with here in Colombia. I know through some vacations. They're the ones who introduced me to Nirvana. Nevermind. And Dali. Very very smart person. My uncle. He's my aunt. Well, actually, my aunt it's from my aunt's side. My uncle, he's was a really great man, and yeah, he taught me how to, his children taught me how to read. Basically, they taught me how to read and really get into books. And my first ever, here's some big black records. Steve Albini. I'll get to these. I'll get to these right now. So basically, my father was my first main influence. My father was really into, like I said in another video, we would listen to Phil Collins, and all this Genesis and not Genesis. I'm sorry, Phil Collins, and basically English pop music. And he was the one who taught me how to work the transport. After that, my uncle taught me how to work the vinyl, how to work the stereo. All these things that are very insignificant are actually very important in a child's upbringing, and just being able to identify play from record, fast forward, use the stop function. Don't go from fast forward to play. Use the stop the transport. Now you can play it, right? Oh, stop, forward, stop, use that stop, don't wear out the transport, don't wear out these transports. Be very careful with these things. These are, they're not relics, not yet, but they're very, it's a mechanical device. So mechanically you wear out, basically if you're constantly doing something mechanically, the thing that is being utilized is constantly being worn down. So you got to be careful. Anyways, so after that, my grandfather in LA, I got my first. My first. I'm sorry if I'm missing. I'm forgetting about someone in the engineering thing. Yeah, well, I have a lot of engineers in my family, and I'm really into this whole thing, electricity. I recently went to school for engineering, and I got my degree in electronic engineering. Well, yeah, I'm very happy about that, and I all of this has to do with me being interested in audio recording, being a recording engineer, and it revolves around knowing stuff and people like Steve Albini, like the independent movement, and my experience in a recording studio. All that has to do with knowing about Steve Albini. Anyways, I bought my first my first 4-track recorder. This thing, I've had it forever. I've already shown this. This is where I really learned about overdubbing and the actual craft of making sound. So yeah, I think the engineers that made this. This thing is really it's not only obviously a professional tool to make records, but it's also an educative thing to have for someone who wants to make records. I'm guessing the equivalent today is a computer. So because it's software, we kind of perceive it as it's something that's plastic, and we can probably misuse it. And no, these things are these are actual engineering tools. So appreciate them and make sure you're utilizing them and learning. Sonar software. It's not Pro Tools, but I've heard great stories about Sonar, and that's why I still use it, because Sonar, it's Sony, and I think not Sony, or maybe it is Sony, but Cakewalk software. It's very, very good. Don't put these things off because they're inexpensive. They're not the most popular thing, but another thing that I learned from Steve Albini is don't get the most expensive thing in the store. Look for something that's going to help you get from point A to B. If it's inexpensive, if it's used, if it's something that's going to help you learn, there's nothing wrong in getting something that's inexpensive. So as children, we're taught, not we're taught, I think it's in our nature to like new things. We want new video games, obviously new clothes. Well, this is different. This is a little different, but no, it's not different. It's we like to obtain new things. I guess the smell of a fresh new, I guess a new car or a new CD. The plastic is brand new, and we like to buy new things. But as we get older, and something that I learned from Steve Albini is don't get the most expensive thing in the store. Look for economy. Look for it's not I've looked at the actual some of the things that he would say, and it comes off as being kind of so something that happens here too in Latin American countries is that why are we still using all this old gear? Is this a good thing? Of course, these things are made forever. These things are made to last forever. Because that's what engineering. The purpose of engineering is to facilitate our lives, to make our lives easier, not to complicate our lives. We don't want to put these things off because they're used, they're older. You want to be able to obviously this isn't for children, because electronics is a very, very dangerous thing to practice. We're talking about electricity, so I don't want to get into that because it's probably dangerous for anybody. But anyways, this story is about my background in engineering, and recently learning a lot from Steve Albini, and my recording engineer background. That's how I started, was with that little Tascam 4-track. We did with my first band in high school. We did a demo, a 4-song demo back in. It's on Lincoln and It's on Santa Monica. If you guys have ever been to Santa Monica, it's on Lincoln, somewhere on Lincoln Boulevard. It's He's a very in, incredibly gifted, creative engineer. His name is Brian Susko. Brian taught me a lot of what I know today. It was really difficult at that time because I was, very young. I was maybe too young to really understand everything that he taught me or everything that he was trying to teach me. And whenever I would try to figure something out, Steve was always, it's so almost like a reference. Steve would explain it, and my experience in Brian Susko's studio, in his studio, was very rewarding. I know Brian was taught. He did an internship in 4th Street Recording. 4th Street Recording is a studio in. I don't know if it's on the. No, it's not on the 3rd Street Promenade. It's very close to, in Santa Monica Boulevard. It's a very. It's almost like a little cave. Very beautiful studio, very beautiful. I walked in with one of my friends, and we were trying to see if maybe we could make a record there. It's not cheap. It's very expensive. But Brian Susko, my first experience in a recording studio, the recording studio on Lincoln, which I think he named after this magazine, Sound on Sound. One time I was helping him clean out one of his rooms, and he had tons of these magazines. Sound on Sound is a great magazine. If you are interested in this world of audio, this magazine is very, very good to have. I've had this thing forever. This is more than 25 years. I've had this magazine. It talks about acoustics, and that's why I kept it. That's actually the only Sound on Sound magazine I bought, but it really clarified a lot of things about acoustics. I'll get to this right now. This is going to be a long video. I'm going to try to. I know this is a lot of things because when I would listen to Steve talk about, if he's talking about one thing, for example, he talks about the difference between analog and digital, and he talks about one being different than the other, and it's almost like he's explaining everything to detail. At times it seems like he's rambling, but it's not rambling. It's actually very important information that the audio community really needs to understand, and something I couldn't remember it. I couldn't remember everything that Steve says. Steve talks, he knows, it's almost like he was given, or he had to research it himself. He had to really, really, really study. Maybe Ian also gave him, all this information. Probably not all of it, but I know at some point he would talk about standard recording practices back in the 50s and 60s. So these are things that are standards in the audio engineering world. So this is why I think Steve will be respected and remembered in this field, because not only because he was a creative and crafty artist, not only because his records and the music he made, but also because he would follow standardized engineering guidelines. So why is tape still the standard? These are the reasons why tape is still the standard. Tape is archival. It will outlast anything else. We're talking about actual physical material. So the CDs are archival as well, but after like 40, 45, depending on how they're stored, maybe after 45, 50 years, the CDs are obsolete. The actual physical CD will stop working. Vinyl will outlast CDs in the sense of the physical actual thing. Vinyl will probably stay in good quality for 150, 200 years. these are things I've read, and these are things I've learned from Steve. Analog recording is a lot different than digital recording. Digital recording utilizes sample rates, and digital recording, it's almost like taking pictures of instances very fast. The transistors in there, in the computer, and the processor are basically, working on and off. It's like a simulator of what's actually, of what happens in a tape machine in an analog setting. A computer is trying to, almost like a robot, it's trying to imitate what the tape machine does. So what is a natural electric, like in tapes, in tape machine, in a tape machine, what is happening with, this is another thing that's different, is the actual, the stuff that this is made out of, the oxide. I'm far from being an analog engineer. This is not, no, actually, well, I do have experience. That little Tascam 4-track recorder was my introduction. So I've been recording on tape since I was 13, 14 years old. I know a little bit about its quality from hearing it and from storing it. But this is a little different. Not a little, it's very different because it's, robust. I'm guessing a lot sturdier. And this stuff is tape. It's tape. It's made of special physical properties. So it has special oxide, some densities, quantities, and when it records, it's completely different than a computer. So not putting off digital recording. I think this is something that's been misunderstood, is that Steve will never record on a computer because he does not like the audio quality and all this stuff. Okay, I think he's not putting off digital recording. I think he's giving analog an importance because it's the fundamental thing to know. Without analog recording, you're kind of skipping a huge history of what recording is. And I'm guessing, back in the day, they used to record direct on disc, which is another thing as an audio engineer, I probably have to study and eventually one day know about, is the actual direct on disc recording, which is I guess primitive in its construct and its concept, very basic, very, very, very fundamental electrical process of recording sound. Anyways, so yeah, that's why I think Steve is trying to. If you're looking at all these interviews and you're like, but he hates digital recording, and that's not how I perceive it. I think Steve is saying that computers are trying to imitate something that the tape machine already does. So there's no need to. Actually, this is something that goes on for hours, so you could talk about analog recording. But it's basically that the computer is imitating something that the tape machine is already doing. So if we already have tape machines, why are we looking for why are we looking to recreate I guess a fictional version of what's really supposed to be happening? He's not saying that digital recording is not useful. It is. We need computers, we need digital recording, we need digital components, we need solid state equipment. All this stuff is very important in our world, in our lives. We do need computers to do a lot of calculations and even make records. Records on computers are also important. But I guess Steve's thing is that he wants us to really embrace becoming an engineer, and becoming an engineer involves going back to step one. And step one is what? Electricity. And what is electricity? A constant vibration, back and forth electrical current. And what is the computer doing? The computer is imitating that. It's I guess yeah, it's like a copy of something that's supposed to naturally happen. So analog is a lot different than digital in its physical. Like I know a lot of people say, yeah, well, analog is analog because it eventually uh, comes out of the speakers and it hits your ears. So that makes it analog. That's very true. But the thing that's coming out of the speaker is not the same. If it's tape, it's a lot different. Like I said, it's coming out of a different physical property, different physical dense properties of oxide, and I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the actual materials. I'm still learning. Tape is, when you record the tape, there's a lot more information on the tape. There's a lot more depth, and there's a lot more mid-rangey low stuff that digital recording is not capturing. Not that it's inferior in quality. Digital recording is very good at capturing specific things. So, for example, if you're recording a guitar, it's going to record the guitar very, very pristinely. I guess if you want to say, it's almost like the difference between, I guess, a crayon and a really, really thin mechanical pencil. No, not a pencil, like a really thin. I guess that's one way of seeing it, right? It's the difference between an actual crayon, which carries and captures a lot more grainy. It grabs a lot of stuff of what's happening through the microphone, the vibrations in the air. It's actually grabbing all that information and putting it where it's supposed to go. Well, I don't know if that's it. That's probably it, because that's probably why computers are really important, because the tape is. I guess they're both it's both different mediums are interpreting what's happening through the microphone. For some reason, tape captures a lot more low rangey stuff that has a lot of depth and weight. Like you can actually hear the analog weight to some of these recordings. The highs are a lot different. You don't get very high definition. I'm guessing the cutoff is, well, this is right now, I'm just guessing it's maybe 16K of what I've been hearing. Actually, the actual digital stuff that you're hearing has got 20, I think even more, like 22K sometimes, which is a lot more information. But it's different information. It's almost like I said, it's different. It's the difference between a crayon and maybe like a really, really thin mechanical pencil. Anyways, it's just an analogy. I'm not an expert. I'm still learning a lot about this. I'm learning a lot about what Steve is saying in those interviews. Another thing that is very, very, I guess, not trademarky, I'm sorry, that's not the right word. Very important in, I guess, what Steve is saying is that we have to have our own way of doing things. So if that's you with a computer and that's all you're going to use, you have to know what's going to happen if you just use a computer. The same thing with tape. He's saying I think he brought tape back. He kept it strong and he kept it it's still a standard thanks to Steve. Steve helped a lot of the audio community maintain, because all these recordings that we loved in the 70s and the 80s, all these classic rock recordings were made on tape. So we're expected to enjoy computer music, for the next 50 or 100 years. You're like, oh, no more tape. We're gonna get used to listening to computers and digital recording. I think one of the things it's very like I said about Steve is like very very much like somebody came out of like a Leonardo da Vinci saying that, or someone nowadays saying, no, we're not going to paint anymore. We're not going to use our hands anymore. We're just gonna we're gonna let the computer do it for us. We're gonna let the computer do it for us, and you know, that's the solution, which it's not. Anyways, tape is still the standard, and I think Steve has a lot. I thank Steve. Well, I guess a lot of the audio community thanks him, because a lot of it has to do with him being involved in telling all these people that, keeping tape alive, purchasing tape. I'm guessing looking for all those Studer tape machines is not easy or cheap. Keeping these things in maintenance is very time consuming. It's very laborious, crafty, and delicate thing to do. You can't do this in a day. Sometimes it's, unless you really know what you're doing, and I'm sorry, unless you have a lot of experience, which I'm guessing Steve already had. These things are very delicate. Analog, one channel from the next, even if they're calibrated, even if they've been maintained, they're still different, right? Because of their distance from. It's just something. It's just like channel 5 to channel maybe what is this, channel 25. They're both going to be completely different all the time, even if they're completely calibrated, because the board's been through a lot. It's been used. These channels are interconnected to other things, other resistors, other capacitors, and they're never going to be. I mean, I guess it's part of the good part about analog recording. It's not perfect. There's a lot of flaws. It's very human, almost very human, and thanks to Steve, it's still going to be utilized, and we're going to continue to help him and Electrical Audio to keep it as a standard of recording. I think that I've recently read about tape machines. They're making tape machines, but I think they're more like a boutique, maybe for very, very wealthy people. If you try to get one of these machines nowadays, they're probably maybe like 40 grand, 50 grand. It's very expensive to get a new tape machine. But another thing that Steve said, you don't have to get new tape machines. There's a lot of stuff on the market, and you could also learn from those four-track analog recorders. Those handheld recorders, those are good too. In my opinion, I think we still have to use the computer, which is something any other engineer will tell you. The computer is very important. So if you're an engineer, you need the computer. The computer is still important. And I'm still going to keep using analog equipment. And digital. I really love this PreSonus and this board. This is a Soundcraft. I know Steve had a Soundcraft, I think the 600 series, something like that, 800 series. And that's how I think I don't know what records he made in that that's not a loft, it's attic. I don't know. I think it's I forgot the name of the house as well. Anyways, there's a video where Steve has there's a Soundcraft, and he's got a rack, and he's talking about microphones, and he's talking about audio processors. And anyways, that's a really good video. I learned a lot about acoustics also from Steve really quickly. It's basically any room is it can be utilized. Any room is useful. Very much like tools. You have to apply your craft and your knowledge to the things that you have and you own. If you just have a computer, if you just have this PreSonus, apply analog techniques to using this thing. This thing is an incredible leap in audio recording. It's very portable, mobile, and I've never had any problems with this thing. This thing is really impressive and very well built. If you look at the actual build of this, I haven't. I'm not going to open it because it's still it's perfectly brand new. It doesn't need any maintenance. It doesn't need any calibration. The components are brand new, so there's no need to mess around with anything or to look at anything. The performance of this thing is very very good, and it's very impressive with all the plugins. And I use a ThinkPad. I use a ThinkPad with this. Where's my ThinkPad? Somewhere on here yet. It's my ThinkPad. It's a ThinkPad. If you're starting to learn about audio, you're not gonna probably want. You're not gonna want to get a very expensive console, because it's pointless. You have to learn to walk, and then you start to apply. What is it called? Then we can run, right? But then we can do a lot of other things. This is very time consuming. This doesn't happen in a week or two or a couple of years. Or just because this is analog doesn't mean you can really slam things. Which is, if you slam the meters and no, this thing has its science, and you have to. The same thing with computers. You have to be very delicate. You can't really be mistreating components and overdoing it with this stuff, especially because it's electricity. You want to get shocked. Very dangerous. But even computers, like if you have a, I don't know, 4 gig, 8 gig ThinkPad, these are very good computers. These ThinkPad Lenovo's, IBM. What is it called? I guess I would be if this was a commercial, I would sell ThinkPads. These are very good computers for everything that you do. They're very good for making recordings. I think these are very good quality. I really appreciate the way the layout. It's almost like a scientific calculator. It's very it looks very scientific, and it's just an engineering computer. It's a very good computer. It's very, very well built, and I like the interaction between the software, the interface, the PreSonus, and the ThinkPad. I've never had any problems with it. Absolutely zero problems. It's something that it would happen when I was back in the Creative Blaster, the Sonar, the sound card, Pro Tools thing that, it was, back in the day, it was about 90, what is this, 95? No, 95, not like 97, 98. The computer would crash, and there was, it wasn't always as glamorous as it is. And it happens with this too. This stuff, channels go out, but it's part of being an engineer. It's part of the romanticism, it's part of the world. It's part of the craft, being patient. I've learned to be patient. I'm not a very patient person. I'm a very impatient person. I'm very jitty and agitated and very, what's it called? Not nervous, but and I suffer through a lot of episodes of anxiety when I'm working on something, and I get really frustrated. And electronics has really helped me. Engineering has really helped me view everything a lot differently, have a lot more patience. Be something that also I think I recently heard Steve say, is that if you're going to be in this, you have to be very patient. You can't jump from one thing to the next and expect perfect results. You're going to have to be very patient. Learning about electricity is very time consuming. It takes a lot of time. Anyways, I wanted to continue. So back to that's basically a lot of independent movement idealism from Steve. I was learning a lot from him back in my MI days, when I was finishing MI.
Um, I was finishing the semesters, and I wasn't really, I don't know. I was finding myself very agitated. I wasn't really happy with my life, and I was going through a lot of hard things, and I wasn't happy as a performer. My life was really a wreck. I was having problems in my family, a lot of stress, a lot of stress. So in one instance, I went to Steve's. I'm sorry, not Steve's. I bought a, no, I'm sorry. I'm skipping. I bought a hard disk recorder, a Korg D16 hard disk recorder. Those things are incredible. I can't, I give those things two thumbs up. I think they're super, super, I don't know, geez, I'm trying to look for the right word, but super great tool, product. Korg really, really outdid themselves in that hard disc recorder. I love that thing. It's very much like, I don't have, oh yeah, here it is. It's very much like this one, but I had a 16 track one. It's very much like this one. And the 16 track one really, really showed me, it came with a video, and it really showed me how to, I guess, I think it's Japanese. Korg is Japanese. I'm not sure, or Korean. I think it's Korean. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Anyways, I learned a lot about recording, the flow of recording, and the flow of all this stuff, of recording drums, recording a band. I did the second in my band. I did the second recording with the help of the bass player and drummer in my band. We had very limited. I think we had like 4 microphones, very cheap stuff, Radio Shack stuff. No, not Radio Shack, Circuit City. Oh, that the Audio Technica mic that I have on my Instagram page. The first photo picture that's the first mic I bought. I think my mom bought it for some karaoke, and she never really did it, or never, or I think she got it from me. Or no, I'm sorry. I bought the microphone because it was at a really great price. I think I bought it for like $70, and it was really heavy and really sturdy, really, really well built. And I guess we had 2 or 3, 4 microphones, 4, 6. I think we had like 6 microphones, and we used that Korg D16, and recorded drums. Did a lot of tracking on drums first. Then I recorded the bass. With the bass player, took the machine back to my house, which is really portable. It's a big 16. It's almost the size of like a small piano, a small MIDI controller, but it's really heavy, and it's really, really good, really well built. I'm really happy that I bought that Korg. My mom got it for me, the Korg Digital D16. I took it back to my house, and we did the bass, and the bouncing of tracks, and the punching in of that digital recorder I'm really happy with it. I think that a lot of that has to do with the way the record came out. It's also maybe like the benefit of digital recording, which helps, right? This stuff is a lot more laborious. If you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to come out the same way. But that's part of I guess it's almost like making, like cooking, or like making a painting, right? You're not always going to get the results that you expected. Oh, I expected this to be darker or lighter, and these things will make you crazy if you expect it to sound like digital. It's not digital recording. It's analog recording, which is completely different, and it's a whole different world. But I'm getting into it now, and I guess a lot of other engineers are going back to tape, and that D16 Korg, that had a lot to do with the recording, the way the record came out, and I did the guitars on 2 tracks, 2, 3 tracks. I don't know. It's just the way it came out. I'm really impressed with the way the record came out, and a lot of that has to do with me learning engineering and the process of making a record. It's a lot different if you're not involved in it, because if you go in with your band, you're usually rehearsed. You know the songs. It's a lot different. it's like stepping back and letting the engineer do the work, part of the work, which is the crafting of the electronics, the flow of the flow of tracks, the flow of maybe sound, all that stuff. Stepping back and letting the engineer do it is one way of doing it, which is great because you come out with something very much. You're very impressed with the way things come out. But as I got into audio recording, I realized that my being involved in the band and being part of playing the guitar in the band and being involved in it had a lot to do with how the record came out. So initially, I wouldn't recommend it. I would get an engineer to do this stuff. Sometimes bands are looking for a way to record, and I think basic tracking with someone external from the band, someone that's not in the band, is a lot more beneficial than if you're in the band. Because if you're in the band, usually, the drummer wants it to be louder, this and this, and then someone else in the band wants to shine, and then the other one wants to be the melody, and then there's a lot of conflict within making a record. It takes a lot longer. Something that Steve says is that records shouldn't take more than 2 weeks to make. I don't even think it's one. I don't even think it's two. I think it's 1 week. It should take a lot less because if you have an engineer who knows what he's doing and everything is flowing, the songs are being rehearsed. You have to know the songs. Everybody has to know their parts. Lyrics have to be finished. You can't, something that we did with my band was go into the studio and say, oh, we don't have a lyricist yet, and we're gonna come up with lyrics later. I guess that's one way of doing it, but it's not going to finish your record. It's going to make you feel very, I don't know. I don't know. It's instrumental music comes out of it, and I guess it's only, we made a demo. It's 4 songs of instrumental rock music. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's something that I guess Steve really cleared up for me, is that certain things are okay. You have to be okay with certain things. Not everything's perfect. Songwriting is also incredible. I think I learned a lot about. I got this thing, and I was so captured by the way the way he, I think it was him or Ian, produced engineered by Big Black and Ian Burgess. Yeah, the way Ian uses the EQ, I think he really slams not slams. He really emphasizes the high end in a very almost like those Cure records that sound very angular. And I really enjoyed this record. I was really happy with getting this. And I had never heard Big Black, and then I heard this, and then I was like, oh, that's what Kurt Cobain was listening to. Of course, that's why Kurt Cobain wanted to record In Utero, because he heard this, and he really wanted that punk, I guess English punk, raw, grainy mayhem in his record. And that's what they did. I guess they did it with In Utero. Anyways, these both this thing is also very cool. I think it's Steve being very creative and really tapping into becoming a creative person and learning about making records. Anyways. Okay, well, I think this is it. This is I'm almost finished up with the video. This is a company I would like to help. There's a thing that I used to do when I was younger. Oh, here's I'm gonna calibrate the machine in the next couple of days. This is the magnetic reference laboratory. So yeah, this is the first time. I already opened it. I've never used it because I'm learning basically how to do that. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And this is the one I'm going to calibrate. I have more tape machines in there back here. This is a really nice tape machine right here. It's a Fostex G16 channel. This thing is incredible. Incredibly made and super sophisticated engineering. The control, the digital process, the digital clock, the mechanical aspect of the arms, and it's just really nice tape machine. Very impressed with this thing. But I'm gonna focus on the 2-track aspect of, because I guess it's the basic recording, and I'm still learning how to. I'm gonna start learning how to calibrate the machine. I downloaded the manual, and I'm going to. I looked up the maintenance part. Okay, when I was younger and I had a musician's friend, I would love to look at it every single day because it's very expensive things that I could never afford. Gibson guitars, Stratocasters, these consoles which are very expensive. But I guess back then I would see that these Behringer consoles were very inexpensive. And I really strayed away from them because I thought they were somehow inferior because of their price range. But these are actually very high quality and very good for the price. It's almost like a Mackie, like getting a Mackie. Mackies were a lot more expensive because they were, they had a lot more. I guess the artists in LA were buying Mackies, and I think Larry Crane, Elliott Smith, they used Mackie. The Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rick Rubin and Brendan O'Brien used Mackie. I guess Beck's producer, which was Elliott Smith's producer later on, I think he used Mackie. Mackie was very popular, so a lot of these other brands, Soundcraft is also very inexpensive, and it's very well made. That thing is incredible. It has a 60, is it 60 plus 60 gain boost on the preamps. This thing is so loud and beefy. I love this thing. Let's see what else. Can I see? I can barely see it. 60 dB, yeah, 60 dB of beef power. It's a lot of decibels. 60 dB decibels. It's got a lot, and it's got a really fat EQ, And these things, I think I got this thing for like, I don't know, here in Colombia, back in the day, I think was it $300, $400? It wasn't cheap, but it's there's a difference between inexpensive and cheap. Cheap is low quality. Inexpensive is just that I guess they made millions of these things, and they could actually sell them for less. These are very good. I know that there's one with effects. I'm guessing the one with effects is really good. And well, these Behringer, I would really like to promote. What is it? Soundcraft, Behringer. These low inexpensive quality. I'm assuming that there's a lot of new. The Yamahas are also very good. They're a lot cheaper than an API, a Neve, or But it's it's not the exact same thing, but you're getting very high quality resistors, capacitors. The design is basically the same concept, right? We're trying to record drums, high quality drums, rock, punk music. I'm guessing here in Colombia, salsa, merengue, pop. Todo esto it has it requires a lot of really good heavy sound, and these things are very good. These Behringer, I'm really impressed with this company. I really like Behringer. Soundcraft, Behringer. PreSonus is very good too. PreSonus. So these Behringer consoles, which are, very inexpensive, um, for what they really are. These monitors, these Truth monitors, are also very, very well made. I'm very impressed with the sound. It's very, very good equipment. Very good equipment. It wasn't cheap, but it was a lot less than if I was trying to get some Genelex or some, vintage Yamaha NS10s. Which is ridiculous if you don't if you don't have the experience. Why would you get a Yamaha? Well, if you've got the money, then I guess it's different. But you'd be very impressed what you could do with a ThinkPad. Oh, is it a ThinkPad? Or even a Tascam recorder. Even a little Tascam recorder. If you really know how to use it, I've if you read the manual and you actually, if you actually know what's actually in the product that you're buying, you'd be very impressed what this stuff has. These are very, very well made. Their pedals, I really love their pedals too. These sound processors, I've never heard them, but I know that they're very well made. Just by looking at them, they're very well made. Anyways, Behringer is a very good company. I got this. Look at this. This is a really nice size for maybe like a live setting. No, for a studio also. Large format mixers. The salesman who I guess back in the day I was talking to, let me have this because he was really trying to sell Behringer and tell me that the quality, the way these things are made. German, I think this is German made. Very well made stuff. So don't put these things off if you're on Musician's Friend maybe website, or you go to Guitar Center and you see 3 different products that are basically doing the same thing, say mixers, and you see one that's something that I learned from Steve. Steve says, don't get the most expensive thing because you think it's the best product. Really, really look for the thing that you need. And the thing that you probably need if you're starting out is the least expensive one, because you still don't know about gear. You still don't know how, and that's probably going to put off a lot of children. Oh, but I want to get I want to get the best one, and I want to, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that, But if maybe you're a little older and can afford to not get the best I'm sorry, not the best, to get the most expensive product, stuff. A lot of the things that Steve says is that get these amps. Probably you can get them now used on eBay, and they're super high quality audio, and you can get them get them seen by a technician, and who will give you a guarantee that they'll be up and running 100%. Anyways, this is a really good company, Behringer. These pedals are very, very interesting. A lot of this stuff is very interesting. Anyways, another company that I would like to talk about is Art. Art is a very good company. They make really great preamps. If you're looking for API sounding stuff, those they're not APIs, and they're hell of a lot inexpensive. You can get them for $100 for one preamp, and wow, you can really impressed. Alesis is another great company. This is a big commercial, and a big shout out to Steve for helping out the independent movement. Punk music isn't really, well, it's actually, that's not true. I listen to a lot of stuff, but punk music wasn't really like I don't know that much about punk music as much as Steve did, and a lot of the people that in the same circle of, I guess, artists, musicians, creatives. But Steve really cleared up a lot of stuff for me, and I hope that I got a lot of this used. I got this Mac G5 because I got it really cheap. Basically, they were giving it away, so I got it used. It's very used. It's been really worn down, but it's still good and it still works. I got this used on eBay because a lot of the stuff that it's a like an engineering It's not a secret. It's more like an engineering concept mentality that this stuff is still good. The same thing with old cars. You can still use these things. These are brand new. I haven't used these. They were really I bought them new, but they were at a really good price. So I'm gonna use them for overheads. These are audio AKGs, Perception 120s. I haven't used these. I could talk about mics right now. I got time. So these are still brand new. Never been out of. I think there's still one of them still has the plastic bag. I haven't even. I know I did. I checked them both just to make sure that they were working, but they haven't been used. I've never made any recordings. I've had these things for 6 years. I kept them in the box, and I'm not. I'm going to use them for drums and violins and anything that I can record. Basically, condensers are very. It's a step from the dynamic microphone that I have been showing on Instagram. I think dynamic microphones, because they're $70-$80, those Shure SM57s, they are not being, I guess, seen or utilized as what they really should be seen for. I don't know if I can say that. If the mic is $50. It's dynamic, and you can get two of them. I would get two dynamic mics at $60, then get a $500 or $600 condenser mic, because you think the condenser is going to give you better sound. Both of those things are different. Dynamics are not inferior to dynamics. Dynamics are not, they're not better quality because they sound differently and they clearer and maybe a lot more snappier. And no, they both have their purpose. I'm really into getting these really. I wish I could. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna try and give me a second. I don't wanna. Give me a second. I got a huge mess. Oh, here they are. Yeah, these are all my mics. Yeah, I've got a huge mess here. And I just made a bigger one. I've got so much stuff here. I'm gonna make some shelves soon. I'm gonna get some shelves so I could start actually. Let's look at these mics. So these are my mics, all the mics that I have. Oh wait, no, I have a bag here. These are my. I recently got some of these tape. The tape that I use. It's ATR magnetics. Very good quality. Very good quality. It's the new. I guess it's a new. It's black oxide. I don't know if they're dyeing the oxide now. I also have very, very old used tape, which is still good. Look at all this Maxwell. These are all little reels, but they have that brown tape, which is still good. I don't even think it has to be baked. I got a lot of those. I wanted to show you my these. I have so much stuff here. No. No. I'm looking for my dynamics somewhere around here. I haven't seen them in a while. Anyways, okay, let's use these. I keep all these things, which I remember when I was a child, I would, get a Nintendo or get anything electronic, and once I cooked it up and it was running and I was getting really good at it, I don't need this stuff anymore. keep these things, and make sure you keep them in like little plastic bags so you can. These Natty microphones, I got them on Amazon. They are super, super impressive. If you're looking for that Kurt Cobain vocal, you're like, oh my God, I wanted to sound like a Nirvana record. These things are gonna get you there. This is the ribbon microphones, ribbon Natties. These things are. I remember recording with them the first time. It's instant Kurt Cobain vocal, very sluggish sounding. I guess harmonic. A lot of harmonic content in these microphones. Very smooth and pretty. You know, dark sounding stuff. These Natty ones are. I'll show you right now. What are these? More Natty. I got these RSM5 ribbons, and I got the RSM4 ribbons, and they're both very, very impressive. This is the one I used. This is the when I instant Kurt Cobain. I was like, whoa, this is Kurt Cobain. I guess, even the PJ Harvey, the Rid of Me record, the PJ Harvey, instant PJ Harvey sounding stuff, vocals. You know, no processing, straight to tape. You know, cassette tape. And then you listen back, you're like, whoa, that's it, that's the sound. Like you're looking for the processor, and I was like, oh, it's the microphone. Before connecting or operating this product, please read the enclosed manual carefully. Do not record. Anyways. So I have 2 and 2 of these. I have 2 5s, 2 RSMs, and 2 RSM4s. And I got them. I guess I got them at $70 on eBay each. They're very, very good microphones for what the price, for what they're paying, for what you're paying. It's an incredible deal. I don't have my dynamics here, so we're gonna skip those on this video. I'll show my dynamics later on. I basically have. Oh no, I got a couple here. A couple SM57s. The SM57 is an underrated microphone. I think it's a beautiful microphone. I guess Steve was not really a fan of it because it was so much. It's like it's saturatedly, it's overly used on everything, drums. So everything sounds like an SM57. So I guess that's probably he's probably not saying that they're not good microphones. He's saying that there's a lot more microphones out there that are, you know, maybe inferior quality, but they will give you different and more beautiful results. But no, I love those SM57s. If you're a singer-songwriter and you play acoustic guitar and sing, get an SM57 and record with it. You will see what the big deal is on those things. It's like instant clarity of vocals, mid-range and low end. It's very, very very good microphone, that SM57. This is a Nova Classic FET. I used this on drums, and it's very good. It's on a band I had here in Bogota. This is one of the mics that I used on drum. I think it was a room mic. No, not a room mic. Yeah, I think this was a room mic I used. It's a Nova. This is the first Nova that came out. It's not if you look at the other Novas, they look a lot different. This is a very beautiful mic. It's very, very well made. It's one of my favorite microphones. I got it here in Colombia, Bogota. Okay, so I have this one. This is, if you ever, I love to swim, and I have one of these things that you have to put on your head, so Speedo. Yeah. Which is this one? This is the 5, I think, the RSM5. Natty. RSM5. It's an 8 polar pattern. I think that's what it's called. I have yet to get into microphones too. So everything is I basically do a lot of connecting, and I'm learning my gear slowly learning. But this is a 8-polar pattern. These are, I guess if you put it like this, you get information from here and you get information from here. So this is probably a really great room mic to put maybe like in between an orchestra. This is a very beautiful mic. I got 2 of these. I think that's the other one down there. That's 2 of these. This is one of these stress balls. Like if I'm under a lot of stress, I usually do this, and usually gets rid of the. But now I have to work out a lot more. I have to do a lot more exercise every day, or else my blood pressure will rise. It's just something that happens. I have to go to the doctor every year, make sure I get checked out, blood pressure, because I'm getting older and everything is a lot more, start to become more prone to gaining weight and not processing food the same as I used to when I was a child. And this is another 8-polar pattern. This is the 4. This is the one I was speaking about, that I connected it in the instant Kurt Cobain. I was like, whoa, this thing is my Cold Sweet Strength, which is one of the tracks, the na 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 na. This is what I used on the vocals. This is also 8-polar pattern. You put this in between, I'm guessing 2 acoustic guitars on each side, players. You get really beautiful results. Instant quality for very low prices. I'm gonna make a mess all over this, but this is the other one. I have 2, so I have stereo pair. This is my first condenser microphone that I bought. Audio Technica. I completely love this thing. I will never sell this thing. This is like a landmark moment for me when I was really into audio recording. This is the thing that I bought this here in Bogota. This is a great vocal mic. I think I would say this is my favorite condenser vocal mic that I own. It's a AT3035. This is beautiful microphone. You will get really great acoustic guitar recordings. It's very delicate because it's a condenser. It's very beautiful microphone. Very well made. It has a 10 dB. It has a low cut and a 10 dB boost. I'm sorry, deboost. I don't know what the word is. Negative 10 dB pad. I used it, I think, once on the kick drum, but I would use it on the negative 10 for recording a kick drum. Obviously, you have to be very careful. It's a very delicate microphone. It's definitely one microphone that I will never sell. Well, I don't think any of these I'll sell because they're my first quality. This is my first collection of microphones, so I don't think selling them is. I don't think I'll ever sell any of these. This is the SM57. No. These are my overheads for drums. Sterling Audio. I saw these in the Sound on Sound magazine. These weren't cheap, but they're for the price. They're very impressive. I really love this company, Sterling Audio. It's very good company. This is what I did those first recordings here in for the band, the drummer. This is what I used on the drummer. 2 pencil microphones, Sterling Audio. These are very beautiful microphones. Very good quality for the price. And you want that drum sound. It's very snappy and loud. This is the way to get it. Sterling sound. It's very much like a 30 Seconds to Mars. I'm thinking modern. I'm thinking like like the radio radio friendly sounding drums. This is the other one. I got a pair of these. Okay, that's the other. This two. I have a pair of these RSM 8s, and these are. This is the kit. These are the things that. This is for the Nova, the M-Audio Nova. You have to be very careful with these things because they break easily, and you have to be very, very patient with these things. They will break, and they're very expensive. If you're trying to, imagine trying to find this again. It's very expensive, and I guess let the engineer touch the microphone, please. I'm letting bands know that don't touch the microphone. The drummer usually tends to, I want the microphone closer. Don't touch the microphone. Let the engineer do that part, because you could get shocked. You could really break the microphone, or you could break this stuff, which is very expensive. This is perfectly fit for that microphone. So the same thing with this one, the Audio Technica. These things are very delicate, and you can't be throwing this stuff around or touching it, because you could really hurt yourself and the equipment. This was my the first band I had in high school. This was my drummer's drum kit microphone, I guess, setup. I was using it a lot, and I took it. So I guess if he's looking for it, too bad. Just kidding. I guess it's a lot of things that went on at that time that there's a lot of stuff that I have to go through, but this was one of the things I kept because I recorded the band, so I kept it. And why'd you bring it here? Because I guess I felt like I deserved to keep them, because I guess he wasn't going to use them, and I was going to take care of them. So here's a sad story. The drummer that was here, that I was recording here, and from the band I was here, I think he said, or I don't know if accidentally one of the microphones went out while we were recording. And one of these are, what do they sound? Super Lux. They're very affordable microphones. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe he paid high dollar for these. And I didn't know anything about electronics back then. I didn't know anything about electronics. So this is one of my confessions, is that the microphone wasn't working. So then I started to think, how much is it going to cost me to get it repaired? And what did I do? I just threw it out, which is the worst thing you could do as an engineer. So what did I have to do? I had to fix it. I had to look for the solution. I had to, like I said, I suffer with a lot of anxiety, and I get really nervous. And so back then I had no clue about electronics, and I didn't think that it was that I could get it again, that I could fix it, and if I did fix it, it was gonna take too much. It's gonna cost too much. So here, it's the complete set. I have the kick drum, so it's basically two dynamic for maybe two toms, maybe maybe snare up and down, top and bottom, batter, and low part of the drum, the snare. And this is for the kick drum. It's a PRA 21218A Super Lux. This is what we used. Also, this is 3, 4, and 2. We had two, that Audio Technica and something else. I don't remember what it was. We had 6 microphones. Really inexpensive equipment, and those recordings are, very unique and special. So usually drummers are like, I want to put a mic on everything. These kits are very good for that. It's a great solution. I know Shure has a starter mic kit. Get those. Those are a forever thing. So So these are my microphones. I have another bag full of dynamics, which are very cheap. I got them for like $10, $15. It's like Radio Shack microphones, but I really like them because they're copies of Shure microphones, but obviously very inexpensively made. And no, you get interesting results. These are the SM57s. I'm sorry, these aren't the SM. Oh no, the SM57s are in that bag. Or at least I hope they are. Yeah, those are in that. I'm looking for the bag. I can't seem to find it. It's somewhere around here. Look at this mess. This is the other ATR magnetics master tape. I have a few of those. My mom was doing a lot of traveling, so I had her go out to, I think it's Oakland. I don't know if it's no, it's not Oakland. It's somewhere in Los Angeles. And she brought me like 4 or 5 reels of fresh tape, new tape. I'm trying to think of where I left my dynamics, and I cannot find them. I think I'm gonna have to stop the video here. Yeah, I think that's it. Somewhere around here. I got some. Oh, this is the thing you need to. This is the thing you need to demagnetize the tape machine. So I got one of these. Got these on Amazon. You have to get one of those if you want to demagnetize the tape machine. A really high quality. You need high quality cables. If you're looking for high quality results for like maybe you're bouncing tracks to the computer, to the sound card, you want to get these really high quality copper, maybe gold tip. These monster cables. These are special. I think these are Chinese. I got this specifically for my Pro Tools rig, the 03, the 003. It has an SPDIF out, and I'm sorry, I didn't get that. No. I got this for my M Audio Delta 66. That little tiny sound card has incredible sound, and for my Sonar rig for mastering. So I got this cable specifically for that. Bouncing tracks from the computer onto tape, you want to use very high quality cable. Yeah, you don't want audio loss, or you want good quality. So this was made in China. It's for my little. This is another high quality cable, because I've never used these things because I purchased stuff because I know I'm going to use it someday. But for example, I'm basically setting up my analog rig right now. I have my digital here. Now I have to have within my digital. I have to have my my mastering rig, and my mastering rig is going to consist of these new cables. The mastering part of my studio. This is a really high quality Pro L. This is Italian made. These are very good quality cables, RCA. So I get good quality. For example, you want good quality all the time, obviously. But if you're gonna master stuff, if you're gonna bounce tracks from one part, like from the computer, from like a digital recorder to the computer, or vice versa, or from tape to the digital recorder, you want high quality cables. So you get good results. I got VHS. This is for my my VHS. So this is maybe for drums. I'm gonna start. I have a lot of equipment. These are new Sony Hi 8s. Tape. Capture live performances. Use these. And I think something Steve Vai. I've seen Steve Vai use. He has like a huge library of himself being recorded, and it's all high These things are high. It's saying high quality audio, high quality video. You know, if it's digitized, if it's sent to the right part of your studio, if it's digitized, you've got a master product. You've got a really high quality product. These are brand new. I haven't. This is it. This is the. No, I already showed you this. Yeah, basically VHS tape. Lots of VHS tape. Should I turn the board off? I'm just making sure that my maintenance actually worked. This is professional grade, ideal for hi-fi VCRs. Yeah, gonna use it for a lot of audio. So I mentioned that, you know, maybe it's not the best idea, but it is a good solution if you want to use tape. Yeah, you could use that too. Just, you know, trying to be creative in my own space. And this is another high quality cable. Oh, maybe this isn't. No, yeah, this is high quality. Pro L. Is this Pro L? Yeah, Pro L. This is Pro L quality. It's really high quality cables. These aren't that high quality, but they're very good. And you got to learn about this is mono tip ring sleeve. You have to learn about that. Obviously, each cable is different and it has its own purpose. This is a mono because it has one ring. There's this. This is an Audio Technica. This is two rings, so it's a mono stereo cable. High quality. This is high quality Audio Technica headphones. These are my favorite headphones. What reference are these? This is the ATH M50. I love these headphones. And luckily this board has, so I don't have to bother the neighbors. So this is all mastering stuff. You know, if I have a band, if I'm gonna make maybe a music video or master something, I have a lot of stuff here. You know, VHS. This is tape for recording. You know, it's my passion. Besides painting, besides drawing and painting, and playing the guitar. So these are secrets. I guess, you know. Still looking for those cables. I know I have these mics around here somewhere. No. It's not here. Yeah, they're here somewhere. Well, within those microphones are my two SM57s, and those SM57s. I know Steve says that he doesn't like the SM57. I think I already mentioned it because of certain. I'm thinking the reason is that it's just been overdone, overused, overproduced. Maybe overproduced recordings have been done using those. Maybe he doesn't like it because it's it's like an easy solution. But if that's all you have, if you have $90, get an SM57 and you will see why they make so many of those. And because it's a classic microphone. SM57 is the best solution for recording absolutely anything. It's from 20 to 20. It's 20K. 20 megahertz to 20K megahertz. So it's the best solution for if you don't have a lot of money for. Oh, I got a lot of stuff here. Painting. I gotta organize my stuff. Yeah, there's a huge mess here. I don't have room anymore. I'm looking for the back. I think here it is. These are a knockoff of the Shure microphones. This is plastic right here. This is metal. It's not It's probably not aluminum. I mean, it's not high quality metal, but no, it's not bad. It's heavy. It's a little light, but it's not sure. It's Sure. I think these are. I don't know if they make them here, but they're like $5, and really really impressive. You know, you don't get. It's like a Radio Shack microphone. I don't know if any of you know what Radio Shack is, but it was a very cheap, very cheap solution to getting results. Here, my shirt. This is my SM57. So this is a great microphone. Beautiful, beautiful microphone. I have two of these. Low. These are cardioid, super cardioid, I think. So they capture basically like a beanie. They capture the front end around the front end of the microphone placed like this. Just like the picture states. Yeah, super cardioid, which goes around. It captures the sides. This captures the sides. Super cardioid. So yeah, this is a very beautiful microphone and very, very inexpensive. I think these are $90, $100. I think they're $100 now. I have a couple of these. These. Some of these were. This is something. Yeah, this is a Shure microphone. Another one of these, but it's different. It feels different. Yeah. Some of these were given to me. Let's see these. Anyways, these things. These were given to me. This is a solution. Well, actually, it's not a solution. It's the way to get high impedance down from your cable. I'm not sure if it's high impedance or what it is. High impedance. Unbalanced. High impedance. This is for high impedance. I don't know if you've seen those Jimi Hendrix videos where he has a cable that's like wound. Those are what? High impedance cables. I have to. I forgot. I completely forgot about that. Well, there's a difference between recording a guitar and recording a microphone. The microphone requires lots of gain, and I think the guitar pickups already contain lots of. It contains high impedance. This could be wrong information, but you use one of these to balance out the signal, because high impedance signals are very unbalanced. So this is a way to, I'm sorry, I think it's the other way around. To unbalance the signal, I have to get, mono. This is mono recording. I guess this is a way to, I did know about this. It's been such a long time since I've actually recorded a band. But yeah, this is part of the. I gotta get back into this. I did use these on recording drums, which I probably shouldn't have, because this you want to use this, but it worked. I guess it worked. High Z unbalanced for guitar recording. This is for guitar recording, not microphone recording. To give it high impedance, or for a high impedance connection. Anyways, I gotta clarify that. Anyways, that's the video. Some of those mics, those enemies, I did not want to show because they were given to me. I don't know where they were given to me when I was really, really young, and maybe I don't want to. I don't want to get into that. I don't know if they were that were found somewhere or stolen or anyways. I ask, you know, please forgive my ignorance and my youth of, whatever, being stupid, being on the street, not being smart. Nothing negative, but just in case, because they were given to me. The people that gave it to me, they knew I was into recording, and I think I don't know, maybe they were just they were found or something, and they were like, yeah, we found these, here you go. No, like we're not going to use them, so here you go. I don't want to show them because maybe they're, anyways. These are Pro L cables, very good cables for the price. I guess it's an equivalent. No, it's not like a Monster cable, but it's very high quality, ultra flexible microphone cable by Monster. Oh, this is another cable that Monster cable. Pro L, so Pro L is the Italian. Monster cable, these are American, these are United States. Very, very high quality cables. These are very high quality cables, very well made. I love this for microphone. I basically use this one and a German one that Warren Hewitt from Produce Like a Pro recommended. It's a German made cable. I don't have it here. I can't find it. I've got it here somewhere. I forgot the brand name of that cable. German made, high quality mic cable. Where is it? Somewhere in here. I got so much stuff. I think it's here. Here it is. It's a... I can't really see it. It says Switch Horror. No, wait. No, this isn't. I can't find the name. It's this. This is the cable. It's a German-made cable. Warren Hewitt from Produce Like a Pro recommended this a long time ago. This is when Produce Like a Pro. This is like 3-4 years ago, even more than that probably. This is a German-made cable. It's super high quality. This is very, very, very good quality cable. I think this cost me like $100, and it's just a regular cable. There's not much to the cable, but the components or the way it's made, it's very high quality. Switchcraft, but that's just the part. The Switchcraft is the part. I forgot. It's a German made microphone, which is, I know I keep saying German because this is a Korean. Anyways, they make these in I guess they buy these in everything in other parts of the world, and then they craft them in Germany. Very, very, very nice cable. I love this cable. It's very high quality. Anyways, I guess that's it. My Leonardo da Vinci. These were brought to me by my father. There's a lot of art books. How to draw and paint the non-dead, I guess zombies, and this is a really, really cool book. I love this book too. So basically a lot of stuff that engineering, books, magazines, stuff from, most recently. Anyways, comic books. I got a lot of, these are all these papers I have to go through. Batman, I recently got this because I was interested in a new Batman, the way the new Batman looked. anyways, good quality comic books. Spawn, I used to love this comic book when I was a lot younger. Sorry for all this. These are electric eraser, USB chargeable. These are used by a lot of fine artists, fine art majors. If you want to get really fine line highlights, you guess you use these. This eraser, I haven't used it. It's still sealed. That's a lot of stuff that I like to purchase because I find that it's inexpensive. As if I let it, if I don't get it, I'm gonna end up using it. I'm gonna have to get it soon. I've never heard of this Backlash. But I got it because I really liked. I was really studying comic book anatomy, and so I got it. I guess why am I showing the comic books? I guess I have to show this because it's not irrelevant information, but it's. I know Steve did a major in art. Learned a lot about painting in college, university. I did some of that research. This is an EQ schematic for a equalizer preamplifier, a QRK Ultimate 2. Very old. It's almost, look, it says Fresno, California. I got this with the Ampeg, so it's around the same area. The Ampeg 6-channel mixer. This is a beautiful analog mixer, and it's all laid out here. I have to build it. If you engineers who are out there, if you know what QRK Ultimate 2 Q equalized preamplifier, Fresno, California. Fresno, California. I got this here. It's an old record place where they used to make salsa records, and they sold it. When I bought the Ampeg, they gave me this booklet. Here, have these two, and they just gave me these schematics. I told them I was getting some Michelangelo information on Michelangelo. I was learning about Michelangelo. I was learning about analog recording, so I told them that I was learning about my songs. This is something I performed recently at RPM Records, chords, and I told them I was learning about recording and analog recording, and they said, you have to learn how to make, you know how to repair this stuff. And I said, I really don't right now, but if I'm gonna regret not buying it. So I purchased it, and I had someone else look at it, a technician, and they fixed it. It had something wrong with it, the Ampeg 6-channel, and now I can fix it because I know a lot more about electronics. I did maintenance on this thing. I'm happy now that probably having all this stuff on top of it is terrible for it. Let's turn it off. Okay, so all right, this is the Behringer. If you're starting out, obviously having something this size is ridiculous. Especially, why do I have look? This is my studio. This is where I do all my engineering. My photography, my art. I know you've seen some of my videos probably. And yeah, look, this is a pretty big apartment, and I utilize most of it for doing this stuff. My life is this, and I guess very much like Steve, and Brian, which is a huge inspiration to me. Throughout my recording and learning. It's used. I mean, it's I'm sidetracking. All of these things are really important if you want to become an engineer, if you want to become an artist, if you want to start, if you want to make records. This stuff is very expensive stuff. Buying a cable is very expensive. Buying a microphone is very expensive. These are very inexpensive for what they are, but what they do is incredible. There's RCA inputs. There's analog out. It has a control. These are for monitors, high quality monitors. This thing is It has a digital processing effects unit built into this thing. For the price of these things, the way they're made, very beautiful results. You get really great high quality. Excuse me, my stomach. Music is the music that you make with this. Well, there's something to learn off of. If you don't know what you're doing yet, get a 4-channel mixer. You don't need to get anything expensive. If you're making YouTube videos and you want to, oh look, I can barely fit here. It's just like I gave Neko a lot of the. This is my library. My dog is here. This is where I work out. This is my paintings. I gave Neko a lot of this. This is his. He goes into the kitchen. He likes to hide in there sometimes. When the lights are off. Anyways, not hide. He actually just lays there because it's cold. I got a lot of pedals. I'm gonna go through that in another video. Well, this is an engineering video, basically. Steve Albini. Why is Steve so important? Thanks to him. Thanks to Produce Like a Pro, the Recording Revolution. Let's see, these magazines, Sound on Sound magazines, DIY movement. All of these things, I'm thankful for. Neko, no hagas eso ahorita. Voy a hablar ahorita. Gracias. No hagas eso. Porque hace ruido. So, Produce Like a Pro, it has been a huge influence on me. It has a lot to do with Neko. Ahorita no hagas eso. Estoy hablando. It has a lot to do. Produce Like a Pro has a lot to do with what's the part about me wanting to become a record producer, and it's not so much that I want to become a producer, but I want to look at those interviews with all those for example, the Deftones engineer. I'm really into this thing, and I've been for the last few years. Tape Op Magazine, Larry Crane. Who's this guy? The guy who recorded the basic tracks for Deftones record. What's his name? I think he's Swedish or from Switzerland. What's his name? Anyways, he's in Produce Like a Pro. He talks a lot about getting inexpensive equipment for getting really great results. He talks about the art preamplifiers. Warren speaks a lot about non-experts. Yeah, I'm not an expert, but through experience I learn. The same thing maybe with Steve. Steve is actually it's a little different because Steve is focused on the actual standardization of audio. So it's standards, analog standards for creating standard high quality analog recordings, right? So it's a lot different. Warren speaks a lot about purchasing inexpensive equipment as well, but he says, well, experiment, learn a lot of stuff. He never really talks about electronics because obviously his focus is something else. His focus is maybe letting people learn through experience. His thing is basically non-experts also can make records, right? We can also make records and learn as we go, trial and error. Steve is probably more towards the engineering aspect of audio. He's talking a lot about actual standardization of high quality analog recording. So if you want to become a recording engineer, you have to know all these things, specifics, right? Not just because you're going to make your own recordings, but because maybe someday you might want to be a part of a professional project, right? And I guess Produce Like a Pro is the same, yeah, right? If you get good results with digital digital setups, then I guess that's what the Beatles. This is the Beatles, the test cam thing. I showed this already. This thing is super cool. I've been rambling on for 2 hours. Okay. Well. So yeah, that's why Steve is such a huge influence, not just on me, but a lot of engineers. If you've ever listened to Nirvana, PJ Harvey, the Breeders, the Pixies, I'm really into Slint. I really love the first Slint record. It's really I'm still on the first record because the second one I know, I think Paul, I forgot his name. Another guy engineered that one, but I really like Tweez. That whole Midwest 80s indie movement is really inspirational. I love the economy in Steve's recordings. The way he talks about getting he says he doesn't use the tape machine as an effect, but I guess as he was learning throughout his career, he obviously changed. He was looking for the standardization of maybe the way he did stuff. I guess sometimes he probably didn't know what, he probably found himself not knowing something. So improvising within what he knew was part of his sound, right? The way he laid out microphones, I guess he laid down microphones on the floor. All this stuff is probably maybe like, I don't know, maybe it was actually Ian's teaching and guidance, or maybe just him learning and reading and research. I was mentioning electrical audio website when I arrived here in Bogota. I went into the university. I was learning a lot about the classical guitar. I was finishing up my my studies in music, classical guitar, and I went into the electrical audio website, and I was really I really liked the way Steve laid out the website. It's very archaic. Very much like a video game, the way things are set up, organized. It looks very like an Atari or like an Amiga, not an Amiga, like a Commodore computer. It's just this archaic things about not knowing, maybe that whole nerdy engineer stuff, which really inspired me. So then I really got into learning about Steve's ideology, his way of thinking, and his approach to making records. And I really enjoyed it. I really think that he kept pushing me. I was living in my grandmother's house, not this one, this one. She had a house here in Bogota, the one up there above my mother. She had a house here, and I was taking care of it. I was living there with my girlfriend, and I made a few recordings there. And I was really utilizing the house. I did some renovation to one of the rooms, took down a whole part of the roof of one. I put some MDF boards. I didn't do it. We had some other guy do it. But it was like conditioning. It wasn't really isolation. It was just it was really loud when we practiced, and I think it was just during the day I did a lot of these recordings, and I utilized that, not the entire house. I just used like the living room and the other little apartment in that house. But I did a lot of recording, and I got into the way Steve made records. And I really looked at his website. I saw that he had all these old microphones, and his approach to recording. I got that recording engineer handbook, which is you can get a copy of it, a PDF on it no, this is something else I did. A PDF of it on Google. The recording engineer handbook. Steve is quoted a lot in that book. He has a lot of information. He gives a lot of information about his approach to recording, and it's in that book, that recording handbook. And I really embraced everything about, not just him, Joe Ciccarelli. Look at this thing. Joe Ciccarelli. This is the Pro Tools. Basically, I pressed. I didn't know. I didn't know. I was just pressing buttons, and then I realized that I could get all these options on the transport on the Pro Tools on the screen. So as I grabbed the tape, and then I said, "What is this? And what is this?" I looked it up, and then it's the, what is this? This is the grid. This is the free mode. Everything, all this stuff. This is how to edit. This is how to cut. So they didn't have these keyboards back then. Actually they did, but I wasn't gonna get an entire new keyboard. So I just basically made my own. I put tape on top of these things, and then I started properly utilizing the Pro Tools rig. This is another thing. If the same thing with I was talking about the transport here. If you misuse the transport, if you start to misuse the transport, you're gonna jam it up and you're gonna ruin the machine. You're gonna give it a short lifespan. And the same thing goes for your computers. If you're not utilizing, for example, there's a space bar, a stop, and there's one here. My intuition, my form of thinking says that if this is the record button and I'm doing a session, this is the area I should probably use. So stop, play, the metronome on and off, and then the record. So I was using a lot of this, and this is just to skip a beat right, a beat to the left or beat to the right, something like that. Forward beat, forward back, and stop. So I utilized this stuff, and my Pro Tools rig started to run a lot smoother. I wasn't having any problems turning it back on, and then all this other stuff that was really taking up a lot of memory. So this stuff takes up a lot of memory. If you use this stop, if you use this one, if you're very inconsistent and sloppy about the way you use your transport, you're gonna jam stuff up, and you're gonna have memory. You're gonna have problems with memory, and you're gonna have problems with cache problems. So the session's gonna fall, and it's gonna say you're losing. You need more memory. This is one way of conserving memory, is being more, I guess, judicious and patient with the way you're using your transport. So if you're going to use this stop, use this one. I suggest you use this one because it has the record button right here. It's a lot smoother. I think it's just like ergonomics. It's a lot better to use this part of the. So yeah, no, this is one of the things I made. I was talking about Steve, the website, and something else. Just Joe Ciccarelli. Joe Ciccarelli, in that Recording Engineer's Handbook, he talks a lot about taking EQ off of the track. So instead of boosting drums, boosting bass, boosting guitars, you want to eliminate. Don't overdo it, but you want to take, instead of adding EQ, you want to take EQ off. And by taking EQ off, you really start to clear up the signal and the two stereo image. By the time it gets to the master, you have a better idea of what needs to go up and what needs to come down. It's a very really very informative. It's in that book, that Recording Engineer's Handbook PDF. Joe Ciccarelli, Steve Albini. I think one of I think Chad Blake's on there too. Chad Blake, and I'm not sure if Chad Blake's on there. No, Chad Blake. Bob Clearmountain, I think, is in that book. Another engineer. But basically, those were the two, and Bob Clearmountain. I forgot what I read about Bob Clearmountain's quotes that he was talking about. Just very, very basic things that you can do in the studio that will help you improve your master. And I'm a huge Nirvana fan, and the whole MTV 120 minutes, really weird MTV oddities, Eon Flux, all that MTV generation. Steve Albini was a huge influence on a lot of the music, a lot of the movement, a lot of people right now, nowadays, all those kids that, are now engineers are thanks to Steve. And all those records, those Pearl Jam records. Michael Beinhorn is another great influence. I really think I've seen some of his interviews on Produce Like a Pro, and wow, it's incredible the stuff that he says. Michael Beinhorn is a great person to follow, and he's got a really great. He talks a lot from he doesn't talk through the engineering parts. He talks more through the producer aspect of it, which is helping the artist come through the technical part, right? It's more like we can get through the technical part, there's no problem, but we need to really get and capture what the music, great music, who you really are as an artist, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, no, my thing was really following Steve Albini and his approach to his way of living, cooking. I think I found his cooking blog once. This was a long time ago, and I think he posted a few things. I didn't really post a lot of things, and very I think he had an alias. All that stuff is really like archaic stuff, and learning electronics and learning about maybe punk rock. The way if you've seen Big Black live, there's one I forgot which one it was, but I really was almost like thrown off by the way Steve performs with his guitar. Very almost like almost anarchy, a way of almost like destroying sound, like he's up there destroying that guitar, making it bend to his will. The strings, the neck, everything is just like he's really terrorizing the world with his music. And the way, if you look at Steve, he's like super skinny and a really scary person to look at, super young and really inspirational, really inspirational. And I'm very thankful for all that information that he has posted on YouTube, and for everything that how he's helped. It's very saturated. Thankful, I guess, memory of what Steve has meant to not just me. I know my friends would agree with me, and engineers. Right now I think I was blessed. We were blessed here with mix with the masters, Michael. Oh man, I forgot your last name. I'm sorry, Michael. Talking about Steve a lot, so I forgot about. Mix with the masters. He's the producer for Coldplay, and for he worked at Electrical Audio, and Michael. I'm sorry, I forgot his last name. I had it at the tip of my tongue. Anyways, we were blessed with his presence here in La Fernando Sor. I was blessed to take here it is. Here it is. I knew it. Michael Brower. Here is Michael Brower was here. We were able to share a lot of useful information, basically mixed with the masters here in Colombia. It was really interesting experience. We were blessed to have him here. Learned a lot from him. Basically, there's something that happens with new engineers, is that they don't know how to run sessions. And how do you run the sessions? Well, you have to know how to you have to be sort of like a people person within the engineering. You have to know how to talk to people. You have to know how to interpret language, situations. Should we keep recording? Should we stop? Basically being a professional within not just as an engineer, but as a person, right? We talked a lot about that. He really helped us out about maybe in mixing, he's a pro at mixing. So he gave us a layout on. I could probably speak about that in other videos, but he basically laid down something very basic. He said that if you have too much stuff on the console that you're trying to mix, you're not going to get good results. So you have to really use those auxiliaries. Make sure you don't have more than 8. You're not really overdoing it with auxiliaries, trying to mix everything on single mono channels. Stefano Pizzaya, he's a patriota here. Colombianos Felipe Lopez. Stefano is, I guess, for the same Italian descent like Steve. And I was really inspired by the whole Steve, and then Stefano was here. He was really young, super young producer. I think I don't know, he's probably like in his early 30s. And in one instance, I called him. I didn't call him. I sent him a message through Facebook. I told him I was looking. They had recently sent me this tape machine, and I was like, hey, can you help me out? I want to learn how to fix the machine. So he said, I asked him, where do you take yours? And he said, basically, he's like, I build this. I fix it myself. Like I take the thing apart. I look at everything. I look at all the components. So he was a huge influence on me into really, like surrendering and taking an actual engineering class, so where I have to learn electronics. So it was a big influence on that. Maybe not he's a tracking engineer. So he was talking, maybe not the whole because I think he had a lot of recordings here. He was doing a lot of recordings, and it was a time when there was a lot of violence here in the city. So it was something I didn't know if that was a contribution, if all these people were actually contributing to other activities which weren't really helping. So that was something that was happening. And well, I'm glad he was there. Felipe Lopez, a mastering engineer who is here in Bogota, and we learned a lot from him as well. I think in one instance he was just basically he basically sent some frequencies through some monitors and really opened up our ears. Helped us really. I can hear certain frequencies now that I couldn't before. There's he's really someone who knows their craft, and really someone who's able to know about his work, and very professional person. So yeah, that was a mix with the masters here. Basically, it's not the same. Obviously, it's not the same because but yeah, no, it's the same soul. It's the same. It's Michael Brower. He's the same creator of Mix with the Masters. The whole Mix with the Masters thing is very inspiring, and I haven't subscribed yet. I think I'll do that maybe in the near future. Steve's videos are very informative, inspiring, and a lot of heavy content, a lot of stuff going on. This video is way too long, but yeah, no, I'm getting it out. It's just a way to, I guess it's a way to basically it's more like a resume of my engineering life, where my engineering background, my family, and I forgot to mention my dad is also very good with engineering. He used to fix his own motorcycle. It's not really his passion or nothing, but yeah, no, he's very, very handy around the house, and all that stuff is really influential. He's a really good plumber. He's really good at fixing stuff within the car. Like if something breaks inside the car, he knows how to find the right glue. He'll find the right way of fixing. Very, very, very engineer mindset. And my family has we have a really old tractor. I forgot the name of the tractor, but they've been fixing that thing, rebuilding the motor for the last 70 years, and that thing still runs. It's my, it's, I guess that's my dad's side of the family. We're very, we utilize what we have very well. Something that it's been taking me a long time to realize is that, I have all these things, the whole Italian thing too. It's very, um, you know, my roots and all these things about being Colombiano and living here and being very sometimes we don't have something, but the solution is here somewhere, and it's just something I've been learning, that which wasn't apparent to me in Los Angeles, because Los Angeles has everything, right? Apparently, right? It's on the surface, we're the United States is the most powerful country in the world, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But sometimes we don't have things, and there's a lot of things that I could have learned. And Steve, maybe that the Midwest mentality. I learned a lot of stuff. Learned a lot of stuff throughout these last few years of, Chicago. I recently saw that Netflix Easy. What is it? Movie? Well, not movie. What's it called? Anyways, it shows a lot about Chicago lifestyle and how people are very, like, if you look at the architecture, I really like the Chicago architecture. I think it's very impressive and very rustic. And the steel, I saw some steel buildings made of steel. It's just, whoa, it's huge, huge, huge architecture. I love the snow. If I had to choose cold or hot, I would always choose cold. Like, I love the snow. I love cold rivers. I love mountains. All that stuff is very beautiful. The Midwest is, I'm sure, I've never been there. I'm sure one day I'll visit, and I'll see what great it is. What great states, Montana, Minnesota, Nebraska. I'm guessing Oregon is probably not the Midwest; it's closer to California, but it's still, it's farm areas, the nature, Michigan. Anyways, I can continue rambling. Anyways, the mix with the masters is a huge, huge influence on, I guess, a lot of the records. It's really kind of interesting because. Soy colombiano. I'm from Colombia, and you would think you like more pop music, like I don't know, like Juanes, Shakira, Ricky Martin, and Draco Rosa, Soda Stereo. I love all these things, but I think my nature, because I grew up in Los Angeles, and my thing is that MTV's oddities, Nirvana, the Nine Inch Nails, all this Midwest, maybe that cinema, the gore cinema from the 1980s, Puppet Master, the clown, insane clowns from outer space, something from outer space, clowns from outer space, all these really weird, weird lo-fi, low budget movies are huge influence on who I am, as a, maybe as an artist, maybe as also as a consumer. Like, I won't make a horror movie, but I would love to see really weird horror movies. Like, I won't go out of my way to make a horror movie, but I would love to see those, like Puppet Master is a great movie. I remember I have so great memories of all those movies from back in the day. Anyways, the mix with the masters thing is very, very inspirational. Produced like a pro. There's also this guy from the Recording Revolution. He was making a lot of videos, and he was talking a lot about inexpensive gear, making your own little studio, create, be creative with what you have and utilize the things that you have. This is a step up, obviously. This is just, if you're going to start into this recording thing, I wouldn't jump right into being an analog recording engineer. If you have a computer, which I'm assuming everybody does now, or a cell phone, utilize digital software. Don't Don't get caught up on that. You have to only, like, the best thing in the standardization is, analog recording, and you have to, no, I mean, take your time, really utilize equipment and learn about your computer, learn about yourself. Like I said about here, learning these little things, like being very, like, don't be aggressive with this stuff. It's very delicate. It doesn't seem that way because you could, click and keep doing this. But if it's like a person, right? If you're always like tapping on somebody and like, they're gonna get jitty, and the computer in some way gets angry. So be careful and take care of your equipment in the sense that be delicate with it. Well, not completely delicate, but just don't be aggressive with it, because you can get a new computer. If you're like, oh, it's just a computer, I can get another one. No, 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 no. Take care of it. Take care of it. It's the same with these tape machines. I was lucky to find one in this condition. It's basically brand new. It hasn't been utilized that much. It's probably 1980s, late 80s tape machine, or I'm sorry, late 70s. But it's basically brand new. It's a nice 2-track. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna set it up soon. I got the actual. I think Steve mentioned the 800 nanowebers, but this is only 200. But well, it's what I have, and to get one of these, he uses CCIR equalization. I use the NAB. Oh, this is 250 nanoweber flexivity. Yeah, well, he uses CCIR in this this mix with the masters thing with Greg Norman. He explains about the tape quality and the specs that he uses. Well, they're not the same, but well, I have one, and this is the one I have to use, and the one I'm going to use, and it's going to sound different, and it's going to sound the way that I worked it, right? The way that I think, the way that I work is going to come out through those records. So that's why Steve is so, well, for those who are inexperienced, that's why Steve Albini is so great, and I guess will be remembered for all the great art that he created and has left for us to study and well, keep researching, investigating. Big Black, Shellac. I don't have any Shellac records, but I did see an interview. I have seen him a couple times live. I think it's very impressive the way Steve constantly it's not reinvent. It's almost like reaffirms his individuality within this community. There's the audio, right? Like, this is me. This is who I am. This is how I play guitar. This is the sound that I like, and this is right. Like he finds something that he likes, and he really goes for it, right? A lot of us are very scared when we're learning an instrument. Oh, is this the right chord? Does it sound good? Is it pretty? Do you like it? All this stuff is anti-creative. And something that I completely will confess to is that a lot of the things that I do when I'm creative, especially when you're learning, when you're a kid and you're learning, you don't know what's going to sound good, and you want to copy, and you're very uncertain and very scared to be an individual. And Steve completely shows us that that's okay. It's okay to be scared of who we are, but as soon as he really, gets into what his performance and being in a band, and also this stuff, like if you listen to BJ Harvey's Rid of Me, Nirvana's In Utero, that Slint record, there's a lot more, the Jesus Lizard records. I love Goat. I love what's that other one with the 4 cats and the lady, looks like an Italian painting. That the guitar player Dwayne, I forgot his name. He's also an incredible guitar player. Yeah. So I can keep rambling on. It's been like 2.5 hours. I guess I just had to. I'm really, really sad that Steve has left us. But he's left us a lot of art, photography, records, knowledge. And as PJ Harvey has said, he's He's a complete alchemist. He's a Renaissance man and huge influence on me. So, well, that's the video. So thank you, Steve, again. I know I've talked about you a lot. Yeah, I mentioned some about my family because he mentioned he's very open about sharing a lot of information, very open about letting people know how to make good records. This is something that will obviously be a part of my life now. I didn't know that they had these for the old Tascam mixers. Steve is in no doubt a complete master at his craft, and all those YouTube videos are very repetitive. If you look at, they're always asking him about analog recording, and it's very repetitive, and he has no remorse in repeating the same information and letting everybody know, that tape analog recording is still the standard and probably will be. It's a lot more practical. It's more archival. There's a lot more to analog recording still. We have a lot more to perfect. These tape machines are not cheap to make. They're not light. These things are very heavy, and fixing them is a real labor, labor and love, craft, and finding the right parts and all this stuff is very it's maybe for an older version of whoever is learning how to do this right now. I strongly recommend you. There's a Radio Shack book. I don't have it right here with me. It's beginning actually the Dummy series has a good one, but no, the Radio Shack one, if you go to Radio Shack and you look for or you go on Google, Radio Shack's beginning electronics, it's a really great manual to start learning about resistors, capacitors, relays, switches, light, voltage, basically current and resistance. It's not easy. It's not something that you're going to get right away. I've been at this for the last 15 years, and I'm barely learning how to. I'm probably going to make a pedal soon. I'm getting, there's concepts. There's another person that I think right now is really cool to follow is Death by Audio's creator. But also almost like a Steve Albini. I don't know his name. I don't know his name off the top of my head. But Death by Audio, his pedals are really interesting. His earthquake devices. Show Me Your Junk. The Death by Audio Show Me Your Junk is really cool. I think it's really inspirational. There's his creations are really very out there and very crazy, but it's very it's undoubtedly very informative if you want to start getting into creating pedals and stuff like that. Something I'm probably going to do in the near future. The Earthquakes devices also has the guy from where's that guy? The guy from anyways, all those guys. The creator of Earthquake devices, I forgot, is Jamie Stallman. I think it's Jamie Stallman. I really like his episode. Lisa Bella. I really like her crafting. I think I saw some of her performing incredible. Almost looked like a modern day Bach. It's really crazy. Lisa Belladonna, I think that's her name. She's got the studio out there in, I don't know, in the middle of the woods or something, and I think she's a mother, and she has a couple tape machines running while she's performing these incredible heavy charged melodies, and it's really incredible, really incredible. Earthquakes Devices also has what's this guy's name? The guy from, I'm trying to think of the band. It's an 80s band. The Whip It video. I forgot the name of. I forgot Mother's Bomb. Mike Mothersbaum, I think his name. The guy who recorded the Beastie Boys. Um, Mario. No, not Mario. So anyways, he shows a lot of his performance art pieces. Um, the guy who there's a couple of them. There's two or three guys who, the guy from Tool, Japanese, I don't know his name, Toshio. No, not Toshio. I'm mixing up the author. He shows us his studio, Earthquaker devices. If you're unsure what to start, how to start, where to start, watch those Earthquake devices. Show me your junk. It's an incredible thing what happens when you see the studio of somebody who's into this craft. It's really all this stuff is utilized and reutilized and important. I've got I've got 2, 3, 4 tape machines. They still need work. I need to work on these. Yeah, basically it's the same. Modern day YouTube engineers are really influenced by all this stuff. I'm gonna set up this snake soon this week, so I can start recording stuff, sending out signals through the console. I'm very happy with this console. I love this console. Unplug things when you're not using them. For example, this console is not going to be used tonight, so I'm just going to unplug it. Don't be scared to unplug things. This is for my phone, so it's always on. It's always connected. This is my router. Anyways, I probably shouldn't show you my router, especially if there's hackers right here on watching this video. But well, okay. The oscilloscope. But yeah, Earthquaker devices, produced like a pro. I'm trying to get everything in here so that Steve is remembered and we continue to follow in his footsteps. These natties are, very happy with those. This is my vinyl Sony, an old vinyl Sony player. I had these, this is wireless telephones, and I recently changed it for a, for one of these old school, right? Normal, connected through one of these cables. And I think it's a hell of a, excuse me, I think it's way better to have one of these than these. I get better signal. These aren't very good. I don't know. Well, they are, but I connected this thing and I'm really impressed with it. It's, it's very, there's not much to it. It's not wireless. You have to stand right here to talk on the phone, but it's a hell of a lot better than what the Wi-Fi phone was doing, or the Wi-Fi phone wasn't really. I wasn't really getting good signal. There's these are the preamps. These preamps are really good. Alesis. I really like this because it has a drive, has a gain and a drive saturation, it has a phase and a pad. Phantom power. This is really, really high quality stuff. Anyways, okay, well that's it. Let's see, I'm missing something. If you're by any chance, I'm trying to think of something. I know there's something else on Earthquaker devices and this stuff. No, that's it. I think I'm all talked out. All right, so well, I guess now it's at electrical. It's going to be Greg, and he's probably going to be the one doing all the tape recording, and he's going to be a lot more present in being I guess in being part of educating us with analog audio. So thank you, Steve. Let's see. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Electrical Audio. I thank his family and his wife for remembering him, and I'm sure we're going to study his work for more years to come. I'm a huge Steve Albini fan, and I really I hope that we can bring back some of this I don't know, 1990s soul back into music. Computers aren't the problem. I think a lot of this stuff has to do with our mentality nowadays. Everything is so automatic that, you know, everything's on Instagram and everything's so fast now that we don't really appreciate what we have. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of reference material. Nirvana, Pearl Jam. I haven't heard any of the new Pearl Jam records. I'm a huge fan of the first 4 or 5 Pearl Jam records. The one that Chad Blake recorded is an incredible experience, and well, I continue on with all those Chris Lord-Alge, Joe Ciccarelli, Bob Clearmountain. It is definitely very sad that Steve is gone, but I'm sure we're gonna remember him, and hopefully all this stuff is gonna come back to the music, and that our youth or these kids are gonna find the heart and soul of a lot of this stuff. All right. Thank you for viewing my video. Please like and subscribe if you like any of this content. I know I've rambled on for 3 hours. I just wanted to really appreciate a great person, and my experience through music. There's a lot of I have a lot of great memories with music growing up in high school, and I owe a lot to music. Music is a huge part of my life, and it has really, it's almost like part of me so much now that, you know, without it I probably wouldn't be the same person. And well, all this stuff happening in the last 10 years, audio on YouTube and all these engineers and everybody just, you know, really completely sharing their whole lives and the way they think and their, you know, their aesthetics, their preferences, their art, the things that make them tick. Yeah, well, thank you for viewing my videos. I will be sharing more of this content, and hopefully this will be of great help to any new engineers. Watching my old videos, I think watching stuff when I was younger and all this stuff is really really inspirational just to me, you know. So it's a really great, it's like a diary basically of me rambling on about the stuff I like and the stuff that's really influencing me. I know there's something I'm missing. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff to really digest. It's a lot of information, Bo. I'm trying to think of anything, if I forgot anything. Yeah, well, my plan is to make more records and to continue down. I am a YouTube, I guess, a content creator, so I'm going to do that too. I have a lot of artwork. I have artwork for sale. I will be selling prints. I will be available. I'm not going to be, you know, I guess as I mean, I can't share everything I do because then everybody will do exactly the things that I do. But you know, that's why I think Steve is so important, because the stuff that he's been sharing now, he probably couldn't share it back in the 80s because, you know, a lot of this stuff was secret and very archaic, and now he was able to share it because I guess now he's been, he's a known recording engineer, and now it's a lot easier to maybe get by with, he has more work now. So back then it's really hard to share all this stuff. It's really giving a lot of myself, and if anybody is looking, if anybody is interested in any information on how to become a better engineer, a recording engineer, Steve Albini is definitely one of the persons you want to reference, and look up and research. His website, electrical audio website, is very informative and complete in showing you what is used and utilized in a recording studio environment. Anyways, thank you very much for listening to the video. I will be cutting off 3 hours. Thank you very much. Have a good week. I will be sharing more content later as I progress, and I'm gonna set up the tape machine and keep making more videos. All right, thank you very much.